Peace was good. Welcome to part 2 of my top 20 albums of all time, hip hop albums of all time. Let's start with the next album. Next album is Method Man's first album, Tical, released in 1994. Man, definitely just like his second album, Tical to Judgment Day. Very dark, gritty, but this one is like has more of a basement feel to it. You know what I mean? Just like real gritty beats and just tearing shit up, man. Like a lot of people kind of sleep on this album too. You know what I mean? Because I guess people was expecting I don't know. I don't know what people were expecting, but I would say this would be like a sequel to like Enter the 36 Chambers, just beat wise. I would say, you know what I mean. Same goes for Old Dirty Bastards Return to 36 Chambers, because some of those beats sound like they could have been made around around Enter the 36 Chambers. But this album very slept on, very dope, very dark, gritty. I mean, one of my all-time favorite songs is like Meth vs. Chef. An ill story about that song is that Method Man and Raekwon, from what I've heard, was that they would they would battle each other for certain beats. This is early on, around the 36 Chambers sessions and stuff like that. And that song Meth vs. Chef happened to be one of those beats, and they would battle each other for beats and stuff like that, and that's how you got the song Meth vs. Chef. So that was an actual battle that was recorded, so that was pretty dope. You know what I mean? I guess they made it into a song and stuff like that. Songs like Mr. Sandman, which had like you had cats like people like give me 1 second. RZA, he does his thing. Inspector Deck, Carlton Fisk, you know what I mean? See, a lot of people confuse Carlton Fisk and Street Life to be the same people. They're not. They're two different people. I thought so too, but that's not the case. But definitely one of the illest posse cuts in that album, you know what I mean? Pretty solid. Like I said, you like that gritty Wu-Tang flavor that I miss, that I know that most Wu heads miss. This is the album to cop. Method Man Tical, released in 1994. Next album is Beatnuts, Street Level, or the self-titled album, released in 1994. To me, the best album. This album, I feel like Beatnuts themselves are very underrated as as producers. Granted, they're not the best lyricists, but the beats make up for it, and they're listenable. Like their lyrics, they have some hot lyrics too. Like, I mean, if you're expecting to be like Redman or Nas or Rakim or Cooley Rap, you're not gonna get that with Beatnuts. They just all about having fun, smoking weed, and fucking mad chicks. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much the whole basis on the album. I mean, but the beats, I mean, come on. I mean, the beats, some in my opinion, the best beats that they ever did, and as well as like some of the beats that they did for other people as well. Like I said, man, this album, like, there's songs like 2-3 Break, which is kind of like Speak Your Clout off the Hard to Earn album, like I explained earlier. Props Over Here, which was a single. Dope Beat from that. Straight Jack, which has like an ill sample. So there was other people that used that sample as well. This is mad songs, man. Psycho Dwarf, which is like the longer version of that song, because Psycho Dwarf was actually on the Intoxicated Demons album, which I don't have, EP I should say, which I don't have, and it's very hard to come by. But if I do find it, I definitely will pick it up. But to me, the best album in my opinion. I did a review on Stone Crazy, which I thought was an okay album. It was good. It was like, to me, the last good album that they put out. Then I already told you my feelings about A Musical Massacre, which I felt like I didn't really like that album, but I will pick it up one day, and I will listen to it again, give it a fair chance, and I'll do a review on that. And I did a review on Take It or Squeeze It, which I thought was okay, could have been a little bit better. But this is Beatnuts, Street Level, released in 1994. Definitely pick it up. And we got Jeru Damaja, Sunrises in the East. Yo, Jeru, I mean, come on. Like, to have some of Primo's illest beats and Jeru's illest lyrics and shit like that, and his positive, his conscious lyrics, you can't go wrong with this album. I mean, songs like Come Clean, The Original, Mental Stamina, which was also Afro Ra's first appearance on Wax. A lot of people might not know that. Some people might know that. Some people might not know that. Um, One of my favorite songs is Jungle Music. It's an ill beat. My Mind Spray. The Bitches, which that song, The Bitches, got him beef with the Fugees because they got offended for that song, and they made a diss track to Jeru on the song Z-Last on the Score album. Dope album. I did a review on that as well. But you can't go wrong with this album. Some of his illest beats. I kind of wish Primo kind of go back to this style of beats, just like Hard to Earn, like that style, that gritty, dark, simplistic, type of beats. I want Primo to make those kind of beats again. But this is Sunrise in the East, released in 1994. Definitely go cop. Onyx, the second album, All We Got Is Us, released in 1995. This is definitely their best album in my opinion. Like I said, I like their first 3 albums. Back the fuck up. The 4th album I was not a fan of. That was another sequel album that went terribly wrong. But this album right here is a very solid album. Their darkest album. They did most of the production themselves. Mainly, Fredro Starr making the beats and stuff like that. And I think Aguilar did a couple of beats too, or 1 or 2. This is a very solid album. This album, they kind of went political with it. They talked about racism, they talked about the Illuminati, they talked about the ills of the streets and shit like suicide, and it's just like the whole atmosphere of the album is just so grimy and dark. You got songs like Most Def is like one of my favorite songs off the album. I Murder You, which was a skit, but there's actually a full-length song. They did a video for that song too with their group Gangrene. Punk Motherfuckers, which was a skit, but it's also there was also they made that into a full song as well. That was unreleased. If you go to onyxdomain.com, you go under like MP3s, you'll find that song. You could download that. Songs like Walk in New York, I mean, they have a video for that as well. Purse Snatchers, Shout, which in my opinion, I feel like Shout was a better single than Slam. A lot of people like Slam, but I feel like Shout was a better single. I don't know why that song wasn't a single, but this album, I mean, their best album lyrically, production wise, I mean, it's a whole 9 yards. I mean, I could listen to this album without skipping a track. I mean, this is Onyx with the most schizophrenic, paranoia at their finest, I guess, or psychotic, I should say. This is All We Got Is Us, released in 95 by Onyx. Go cop it. So much time I got left. I still got enough time. Smif and Wesson's first album, Dah Shinin, released in 1995. Man, this album, always have a debate which album was better, this album or Black Moon's Enter the Stage, and it's very hard. It's like choosing your favorite child. It's impossible to do. I mean, because each child has their certain I guess specs or their special their special thing about them that the other one doesn't have. You know what I mean? And that's the case with this album. This album, the beats are smoky, they're dark, they're gritty, just like straight Brooklyn, man. Like when you hear this, you put this album on, you can just feel like you're in Brooklyn, man. You feel like you're in Brownsville and Bed-Stuy or East New York. Like you just get that vibe, man. It makes you want to put on your Timbs and your baggy jeans and your hoodies and your Carhartt. You know what I'm saying? Pretty solid album. I mean, you got songs like Soundboy Burrell, which is like a hip hop classic by many. You always hear that in concerts when they play that in concerts. Definitely has that reggae feel to it, but all my rosters, all my dancehall, heads, and my reggae heads and my hip hop heads. You guys could feel that song. Bucktown was, I believe, was their first single, if I'm not mistaken. PNC was like my all-time favorite song off the album, Partners in Crime. That song where he talks about, yo, you have that best friend that's your right hand man. You know what I mean? That it's always gonna be there for you. You know what I mean? I think everybody can relate to that song, PNC, Partners in Crime. You know what I mean? Or Crimey. You know what I mean? But pretty solid album. I feel like this album doesn't get a lot of recognition. To the hip hop heads, yes, but to the masses, not really. And this is Dah Shinin by Smif and Wesson. Definitely a must have in your collection. Another album, Lost Boyz, Legal Drug Money, released in 1996. Definitely a dope album. I feel like Lost Boyz, they're very original. Maybe not by subject matter, but by the way they deliver. Like, they have like that singy, songy type of feel, but without being corny, you know what I mean? Like that melodic feel to it. This is before Drake and, a lot of these cats that's doing that same singy, songy shit that's unfortunately a trend right now. But, they kind of got slept on, you know what I mean? Just because of that style that they had. But, like, I believe they had like 5 singles off the album. They had The Urine, which was produced by Pete Rock, where they talk about having safe sex. Music Makes Me High. Jeeps, Lex Coupes, and Beamers and Benz. Classic song. Lifestyles of the Rich and Shameless. And Renee, which is a deep song. Renee. That song where he talks, Mr. Cheeks talking about this girl that he used to go out with back in the day. Pretty much like wife material. She was the one until some sucker robbed her and killed her during a robbery and shit like that. And then Mr. Cheeks found out about it, and then you already know what happens after that. And if you haven't heard the song, go peep it. There's a video for it. But the beats on this album are ill. You can't go wrong. And yeah, man. And rest in peace to, I think it was Big Dex or Mr. Sex that passed away. He died back in I think it was 2 years ago, back in 2010. He passed away. I forgot how he died, but I think it was Mr. Sex or Big Dex that passed away. But definitely your music, definitely the beats that you did for them, definitely definitely influenced us, you know what I mean, especially in Queens. This is definitely Queens hip hop, to the fullest, you know what I mean? Definitely brings you back to like South Jamaica, Queens, especially where I'm from, you know what I mean? And anytime I put this on, it kind of brings you back to home, you know what I mean? But this is Legal Drug Money by Lost Boyz, released in 1996. Almost done, guys. Then we got Natas, Do You Believe in God, released in 1985. Definitely their darkest album. The beats were grimy and dark. If you guys know about Isham and Natas, you guys already know the deal about them, you know what I mean? I don't even have to go into it. The shit that they talk about is fucked up, you know what I mean? The beats are here, this is so gritty, it's just, to me, in my opinion, I think this is the darkest album in hip-hop history. Don't believe me? I know you guys could go on YouTube and, type in Do You Believe in God or Natas, check some of the songs out. The beats, man, it's so, like, just listen to this album in the dark, like, it's like, it gives you that scary feel to it, you know what I mean? And this is like a shocking album, definitely. And I found this for like $1 FYE back in the day, and this album goes out for a pretty penny. I seen it for like $100, you know what I mean? But definitely a dope album. If you don't have this album, try, go look for it, because it's very hard to come by, and you're gonna pay a pretty penny. Then we got Fragile's Represent, released in 1993. A lot of people say, Jealous Ones Envy is their best album. I could see why they say that, because, with that album, they had like more he had more subject matter. He had more subject matter. Had more to talk about and stuff like that. This album, he's just giving you straight up Fat Joe, the lyrics. I ain't nobody to fuck with. I'm a gangster. I run the streets. That type of thing. I mean, to get beats from Diamond D, Lord Finesse, Showbiz, Beatnuts, you can't go wrong. Definitely one of the illest, in my opinion, my favorite album for Fat Joe. Although his first three albums are my favorite, I wish Fat Joe would get back to his roots, to the D.I.T.C roots, and stop fucking around and make an album kind of like Represent. You know what I mean? But this is Represent, released in 1993. Group Home's Living Proof. I mean, classic album. You got songs like, Superstar, which was a single. Up Against the Wall, the Getaway remix, Getaway Car mix. That song is so ill. Living Proof, which had the singles, which was a single as well. I mean, to me, some of Primo's illest beats are on this album. You know what I mean? Granted, they're not the best lyricists, but I mean, if you're in anything with Primo, you want to pick up. This is guaranteed. You know what I mean? I did a review on Lil Dap's I Adapt album that he released back in 2008 or 2007 that he came out. I think it was 2008 that he came out with the album. Dope album, by the way. I did a review on that. Yeah, man, this is a hip hop classic. I mean, you can't go wrong. You put this on, it reminds you of East New York, Brooklyn. You know what I mean? But this is Group Home, Living Proof, released in 1995. I'm trying to find the second album, A Tear for the Ghetto, but that album is actually out of print. It's very hard to come by. That's a dope album too. Next album is Das EFX's third album, Hold It Down, released in 95. I mean, need I say more? I mean, you got songs like, Real Hip Hop, the original mix that was produced by Primo. The Pete Rock remix is, man, that song is crack. You got songs like, Microphone Master, and the Dome Cracker remix that they did also. They did another mix with Mobb Deep. They have a video for that too. That's a dope song. I mean, the beats on this album are sick. I mean, you got beats from DJ Scratch, Clark Kent, Solid Scheme, Primo, Showbiz, I believe. Yeah, I think Showbiz too. I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, this is, Das EFX's best album in my opinion. Although I'm a fan of the first four albums, but this album is an album that I could play without skipping a track. I mean, when I hear this album, it kind of brings me back to it kind of reminds me of New Jersey Drive in that kind of sense. You know what I mean? But it's just Hold It Down by Das EFX, released in 1995. This album, Black Moon Enter the Stage, released in 1993. This is another album that gets slept on. I feel like this album definitely, belongs up to with, Illmatic, The Infamous, Reasonable Doubt. I think this album definitely deserves more recognition. I mean, like I said, just like Dah Shinin, you get that dirty basement Brooklyn feel to it. I mean, you get songs like Niggas Talk Shit, dope song. I mean, I remember when I first heard that song, I played that song non-stop. Who Got the Props, which was their first single. You got songs like Sun Get Wrecked, which was a 5 Feet Accelerated soul song. He does his thing on that song. I Got You Open. How Many MCs, You the Men, which was a dope posse cut. You hear Smif and Wesson. Drew Ha, the CEO of Duck Down Records, he actually spits a verse. He's not bad. He's pretty dope. Havoc of Mobb Deep does his thing on that song. I mean, you can't go wrong. And what I like what it said by Eva D, he says this album was done on blunted terms. Anyone who is offended by the concepts of this album, fuck you. Enough said. Evil D. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's fucking sick. But this is Enter the Stage by Black Moon, released in 1993. And I think the reason it got slept on is because, Doggy Style came out that year, Enter the 36 Chambers came out that year, so this album kind of got, slept on, got overshadowed, you know what I mean? The next album is Between a Hard Rock and a Place. No, Between a Rock and a Hard Place, excuse me. I mean, you can't go wrong with this song. I mean, songs like, Come On with the Get Down. You got the Buck Wild remix, which was like one of my all-time favorite Buck Wild beats. Busta Rhymes does his thing. The illest, one of the illest intro, Drama, Mortal Kombat Fatality. Like that beat is bananas. Wrong Side of the Tracks. One of the illest graffiti songs of all time. Heavy Ammunition. I mean, T-Ray definitely hooks them up with beats. You know what I mean? Definitely some of T-Ray's illest beats are on this album. If you guys know about T-Ray, you guys know the deal about him. But definitely a dope album. This is Between a Rock and a Hard Place by Artifacts. Definitely a must-have in your collection, especially if you like boom bap. And let me see how much time I got left. And the last album is Showbiz and A.G's Goodfellas, released in 1995. To me, their best album. Well, like I said, I like Runaway Slave, which I want in my collection. I don't have that in my collection, and it's very hard to come by, and it's actually out of print, as well as this. I think this album is even more harder to find than Runaway Slave, excuse me. This album, this like Runaway Slave had more subject matter. They talk about racism, they talk about black pride, they talk about issues like girl problems and just like the black pride and the black power type stuff, like black awareness type lyrics, you know what I mean, like they did back in the early 90s, but this album was kind of like, yo, I did all that, let me show you my skills, I'm one of the illest. And Showbiz, he doesn't rap like he did on the first album. The beats are grimier, they're dark. Not to say that Runaway Slave wasn't dark, because it was dark, but like the beats were like more melodic, you know what I mean? But they were gritty, but they had like a more melodic feel to it, you know what I mean? But this album right here, I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, this is the first time you hear D-Flow, the ghetto dwellers. For all my D.I.T.C fans, you guys would know about them. This is the first time you hear them on this album, on wax pretty much. You got songs like Add On, which is an ill Lord Finesse song. Next Level, which was a dope song. The next time mix, which with Primo remixes that. Me, I prefer the Next Level, the original Showbiz version. The intro for this song, Never Less Than Ill, dope beat. You can't go wrong with this album. Neighborhood Sickness, Party Yard, he does his thing. To me, he had like the illest verses on that song. I mean, this album is definitely their best album. It's their most darkest, grittiest, their most overlooked album. Another thing too, they came out with an EP called Unreleased Shit EP, which was only released on vinyl. Very hard to come by. It was songs that was left off this album. I wish they put those songs off this album on this album. I'm assuming maybe because of sample clearances, or those songs didn't make the deadline. You know how it is with record labels and stuff like that. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed my top 20 hip hop albums of all time. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree. Let me know if you disagree. Whatever. But remember, keep it positive. You know what I mean? If you agree with me, cool. Comment. Let me know if you liked it. Not, why not? But this is my decision. This is my top 20. If you guys don't like the video, you guys make your own video. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. But hope you guys enjoyed the review. Hope you guys learned something from this. Hope you guys go out and buy these albums or download whatever, as long as you have some dope hip hop, because you know hip hop today is kind of whack right now. But you know, hope you guys enjoyed the review or my top 20. Peace.